Hi everyone, my name is Uchechukwu Owunaka. I go by Uche, and I'm a third-year med student at the Warren Alpert Med School at Brown University, and I'm your current Region 7 Community Service Liaison. To answer the first question about how did I become interested in this role, I saw some med students at Brown who were in the years ahead of me serving on the regional board, and I thought serving as community service liaison would provide a great opportunity to support the work of local organizations all across our region, not just in Providence. And it's been really rewarding and impactful work. And to the second question, in terms of time commitment, on average, you spend about 2 hours for the chapter presidents meeting each month, and then about 2 hours for the national service or national community service committee calls each month. So outside of those, it really depends, but I'd say on average, expect to work anywhere between 7 to 10 hours a month. In terms of the most important responsibilities for the role, I would say your most important responsibilities are planning the service events for Regional Leadership Institute, Regional Medical Education Conference, and depending on where AMEC is, planning the service events for AMEC. Outside of those things, staying in touch with local SMA chapters and keeping them up to date in terms of the service protocols and kind of supporting their service efforts, I think are kind of the most important responsibilities for this position. In terms of a more involved or difficult portion of the responsibilities, I think the more involved aspect is kind of reaching out to local chapters and CPs because we're all med students, everybody has a lot going on. It's difficult, or sometimes it can feel like you're adding an additional responsibility to them. But it's really important that we stay on top of our service efforts and organizing efforts. So as long as you're persistent and you make that effort, you'll be rewarded tenfold. And yeah, it's not as hard as it might sound at first. In terms of what skills I learned or what was most helpful, I think the biggest skill that I learned was kind of learning how to multitask and kind of manage many moving parts when it comes to organizing different service events, because you're working with a lot of local folks or local orgs on the ground that might be in an area where you're not familiar with. So kind of, keeping multiple lines of communication open and making sure that you're following through with all of them. Yeah, being able to multitask and manage different moving parts is really important, and a skill that I walked away with. In terms of hobbies that I enjoy outside of med school, I really enjoy live music and going to see movies or live theater when I can. That's something that I enjoyed even before med school. But now when things are really tough, it's something that makes me feel more like a person. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can feel free to reach out to me at region7community@sma.org if you have any questions or concerns. And looking forward to seeing you at AMEC.